Welcome back, guys. Once a drug dealer now becomes the world's first hip-hop billionaire. Today is the day of Jay-Z. In this video, we'll tell you how he got there. But in response of this video, we need something from you. Just to subscribe. Press that red button, chill, and watch the whole video. Jay-Z was born as Sean Corey Carter on December 4th, 1969. He's an American businessman, investor, music producer, and of course, a rapper. As a teenager, he attended George Westinghouse Technical and Vocational High School in downtown Brooklyn, where he rubbed shoulders with future rappers The Notorious Big and Busta Rhymes, before transferring to Trenton Central High School in Trenton, New Jersey. Jay-Z dropped out of high school and started selling crack. It was not an easy line of work, and he claimed that he was shot on 3 separate occasions during this time in drug trafficking. All the while, however, he continued to write lyrics, freestyle, and listening carefully to his music. Around this time, he adapted his nickname Jazzy to the stage name Jay-Z to honor his childhood musical mentor Jaz-O. He had no aspirations, no plans, no goals, and no plan B. Jay-Z began his musical career in the late 1980s with brief appearances on several of Jaz-O's earliest recordings. He also faced rapper LL Cool J in a series of rap battles in the early 1990s. But he didn't start reaching a wide audience until 1994 when he appeared on the Big Daddy Kane album, Daddy's Home. Despite connections in the hip-hop community and having been featured on Big Daddy Kane's album, Jay-Z couldn't find a name of his own. So in 1995, he sold his car, and with the earnings, he teamed up with his friends Damon Dash and Kareem Biggs to create the Rockefeller Records label in 1995. Jay-Z believed in a great change, born out of deep desire to bring his music to a broader audience, pushing him forever into the business world. He arranged a distribution deal and released his debut album Reasonable Doubt in 1996 and peaked at number 23 on the Billboard 200. That success gave him the leverage he needed to expand the distribution of his label, which he did through a deal with Def Jam in 1997. The next album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, was a deeply personal effort. It was produced by Sean Diddy Combs, formerly also known as Puff Daddy and Puffy, and sold better than the first. The next album, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, was also a success and included his biggest hit to date. Jay-Z ran into the law in late 1999, just before the studio release of his third album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. Jay-Z stabbed Lance Rivera in the stomach and shoulder with a 5-inch knife on December 1, 1999. The attack took place at Kit Kat Club, which is a New York City nightclub in Times Square. He believed that Rivera, who is a record executive, had smuggled his Volume 3 named as The Life and Times of Sean Carter. The album wasn't released until the end of December, but illegal copies were available from street vendors more than a month in advance. At the nightclub, he searched for Rivera and started a conversation about his rumored role in the smuggling of Jay-Z's album. Rivera responded in a hostile manner, and Jay-Z went to speak to his friends about the situation and the best way to proceed. The deliberation did not last long. Jay-Z said of the incident in his 2010 book that before I realized what he was doing, I went to him, but this time I was fainting with anger. The next thing I knew, hell had broken loose at the club. He supposedly triggered some of his friends to cause a disorder, which he used as a distraction while stabbing Rivera. Jay-Z turned himself into the police the following night. He was released on $50,000 bail. He was charged in Manhattan Criminal Court a month later. Jay-Z initially pleaded not guilty, but eventually pleaded guilty and accepted a 3-year probation sentence. Jay-Z's net worth as of 2020, according to Forbes magazine, is $1 billion. He's the first hip-hop billionaire. In 7 years after the Rockefeller Records label began, Jay-Z released 7 albums that sold over 15 million copies. By 2010, he had a net worth of more than $50 million. With his consolidated success in the music world, Jay-Z began to diversify. In 1999, he started a clothing company called Rockaware with Rockefeller Records co-founder Damon Dash. This clothing line included shoes, accessories, and casual clothing for men, women, and children. With the name Jay-Z attached, it was a great success as it reportedly earned more than $100 million in revenue in 2001 and $300 million in 2002. Other investments in Jay-Z's fashion and lifestyle brand include stakes in Carol's Daughter, which is a line of beauty products, and in 2014 he bought the champagne brand Armand de Brignac, known mainly for selling in gold bottles. In 2003, he opened the 4040 Club, which he envisioned as a luxury sports bar in New York City. There is now a second location for this bar at the Atlanta airport. Jay-Z purchased a share in the NBA team, the New Jersey Nets, in 2004 and was an active supporter for his move to Brooklyn, New York in the 2012 to 2013 season. He also owned less than 1/5% of the Barclays Center, where the NBA Nets play. He sold his stake in both the Nets and the Barclays Center in 2013 when he launched his own sports agency, Roc Nation Sports. Can you believe that Jay-Z is certified as an NBA and MLB sports agent? In 2004, Jay-Z and his teammate Dash squared off for leadership of Rockefeller Records. Jay-Z resolved the situation by agreeing to become the president of Def Jam Records. In doing so, he sold his stake in Rockefeller Records, negotiating the profit of the master recordings from his own albums. According to the careful estimate, the rights to those master recordings were worth more than $50 million, and that payment was in addition to Jay-Z's annual salary at Def Jam, which was at least $10 million a year at that time. Meanwhile, the public conflict between Jay-Z and Dash also led to changes in Rockaware's corporate hierarchy. In 2006, Jay-Z bought the Dash stake before selling Rockaware to the Iconics brand group for $204 million in 2007. At Def Jam, Jay-Z launched the careers of many successful hip-hop artists including Young Jeezy, Neo, and Rihanna. It also helped revive Mariah Carey's career, and she signed with her old foes Nas, whose first album Def Jam opened at the top of the charts. Jay-Z announced his departure from Def Jam in 2009 and signed a deal with Live Nation for about $150 million. Under the agreement, Jay-Z started Roc Nation, which is a record label, talent management agency, and music publishing company. A report estimated that $50 million from the Live Nation deal went directly to Jay-Z's bank account. Not long after, Jay-Z branched out once again, teaming up with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith to produce the musical Fela on the work of Nigerian star Fela Kuti. While producing hits for Roc Nation, Jay-Z launched a lifestyle website called Life Plus Times in 2011, offering editorial content on music, fashion, technology, and sports. As Jay-Z was preparing to release his 12th studio album, Magna Carta Holy Grail, in 2013, he decided to try something new. Online file sharing had weakened the music industry, and music streaming seemed to be ready for everyone. But the main problem was that it was ending album sales. He said, "We're in a dying business. Everyone sees it. So what am I supposed to do? Just sit here and wait until I get to zero before I do something?" Jay-Z entered into an agreement with Samsung to give his album Magna Carta Holy Grail to 1 million Samsung smartphone users for 3 full days before it was released to the general public. Jay-Z said, "I think we've discovered how to bring new sources of income to the business. So I went out alone and made a deal. For me, if you're not with the changing times, you're irrelevant. Let's move on. We're not trying to fool the system, and I was not looking for a #1 album." The deal reportedly generated Jay-Z $5 million before the album was released. Brilliant strategy, isn't it? In 2015, Jay-Z brought Aspero, a company that operates a subscription music streaming service called Tidal. He paid $56 million for the service, which had been in operation since October 2014. With a combination of lossless audio and high-definition music videos, Jay-Z hopes it'll be a way to pay artists more for the music broadcast to listeners. After a $200 million investment in Sprint in early 2017, Tidal is now worth $600 million. In June 2014, Jay-Z released an album titled 444, which became his 14th #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart. His achievements in the field of music and business are unstoppable. Well, that's how Jay-Z became a billionaire. Jay-Z's business mindset and his timely decisions helped him to earn millions of dollars in no time. Got some inspiration? Tell us in the comment section below. What do you think of Jay-Z's success story? Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos. See you soon.